Well, here it is. Here is the Batman cover I did for FX, obviously. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do something a little different. As opposed to some other guys who do workshops and go through it all and say how they did every single layer. Because I didn't do all the coloring on this, I am going to show you the completed file and show all of the layers that the artist in Italy, Andrea, did for me. It's a pretty amazing piece. Due to time restraints and my other work at DC Comics and stuff, I decided that I couldn't do it in the time frame allotted. But we had a great special opportunity to showcase really what a colorist does in the comic book format. So what happens here is you get to see the finished piece in all its glory right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the different layers and all the different things that Yelena and Andrea did to make it look amazing. They always make me look good. I worked with them in the past in some other cover work at different companies, and they're my go-to people when time is of the essence, and they do amazing work. So let's just go through some of the stuff that I just had to look at here through. So here's some of the glass highlights you can see on the side here. There's some sidebars here that has all the different things labeled. Because they're Italian, some of the wording is not great. Not that I can spell any better, but I'm just letting you know. So I'm going to click some of these on and off, and we can take a better look at some of the things. So let's start with some of the glass highlights here. So you click on and off. You can see I liked it a lot better with the super shards, but what happens is going to happen like with most pieces you do for magazine work. Sometimes the cover, the information on the cover takes precedence, so you have to put those on separate layers. So the glass would look great and short. If it was a poster, it'd be great, but as a piece for a magazine cover, some of the intensity has to be taken down a notch so that we can see some of the information on the cover. So here's some rim light. You can see the rim light on Batman. I think it really punched it forward. I'll take it on and off so you can see exactly what was done and what wasn't done. I think it looks great. But what we're going to do now, let's take all this stuff off, and let's start with the base line art and just go from there. So I'm going to take the things off one by one, and then we're going to get down to just the pencils, and we'll go from there. So there you have it. That's just the pencil work. That's the first initial pencil. I think it's really strong, even in this sense. But I mean, as you go forward, you can really see that it's, he did a lot of things over top of my pencil. My pencils were really rough. I decided to keep it just pencil in this instance because I like the grittiness. Every time you draw Batman, you always want to keep it gritty and a little bit dirty, a little bit messy, so that you really show the difference between Batman and other characters in the DC universe. So let's put things back on one at a time. So and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, here we are. We put back the pencils and some of the flat images, and you see how the pencils worked, and it looked great. Here we go. Here we go. Let's just put the color back on. I'll do that first. So here's all the flat color, a little bit of highlight on there. Probably take the highlight off so you can see. I'll leave it on. Maybe I'll leave it on. So that's the flat base color. That's interesting to look at because that way you can see exactly what the color artist did over top of it, and see how much work was there and wasn't there. So really, it's more like sculpting. You really got to know your light sources when you're doing these kinds of things. When you did the interior lighting on it, it really punched it forward. But the blue on the outside, or the greenish blue on the outside, was actually red at the beginning, but it was really too intense, and it actually detracted from the rest of the piece. So of course, we went back and started playing with it a little bit, and we got this bluish greenish kind of, which is sort of a Joker color anyway, so it really worked out better. And I think that's pretty amazing. I'm going to add the line art, add the highlights to him. This is an interesting piece. It really jumped there. Before, I would say that, before the light went on, it was strong. But as you take off some of the lighting here, you see that Batman really sort of went back into, pushed back a little bit. Some of it actually looked great. I mean, even at that stage, it looked great. But it needed to definitely have, punch it forward. So I'm taking all the lights off one by one. And then we put it back on. I think the rim light really punched it up. I mean, even when I'm doing my own color work, I treat it like a canvas. So I don't do a lot of many layers. At first, I didn't do a lot of layers. I just drew on it, and then it made all kinds of changes, a bit problems down the line as I learned the business. I worked at a video game company and for 2 years, and it was pretty exciting. It was great to work there, and I learned a lot. I'm a traditional artist, so everything I did was, here's a piece of paper, work on it, and off I went. But learning to work with layers and how things work, and basically even how you should do things for just to make basic changes. It was my work at the beginning was a little bit problematic, and I had to change a lot of how I thought about work. So I mean, a magazine like FX really sort of helped me along the way. I remember looking at the Adam Hughes one over and over and over again. When I was learning, about how to move forward. Now I could pretty much do things pretty close to professional. People would say yeah, some people would say no, whatever. But at the same time, I'm learning the tools of the trade. And I'm an old school guy because I worked in some 1990 something or other. I can't tell you that, I'm too old. But I definitely started in the early 90s in comics, drawing X-Men and all those different things. And I was a traditional guy, so to learn these skills is not tough, but sort of rethinking. It's like you know how to swim, but now you got to learn how to swim all over again. But I'm excited about learning and excited about doing it, so it's pretty amazing. I'm enjoying it, but that's the piece, I can go through some other layers, but I think I've shown you all the layers and how it started and where it came from, how it ended, and all these different things. But I will say one thing about this piece. There's some amazing work in there done by the colors. I mean, the colors really, it was a strong piece. It did well. I mean, it did what it was supposed to do. But after it was colored, it really sang. And I think colors in the comic business are sort of the unsung heroes. I don't think any comic book is worth its salt nowadays, unless you have a really phenomenal colorist. And this is one of those. This is a showcase for colorists in this piece here. And this is exactly how it's done in comics. Someone gets a job, someone gets a pencil work, you pass it off, and then they do some amazing work with it. Art direction back and forth. People spent more time going back and forth than we actually did doing the piece, which is how a comic should be done. And also, it was done within a 24 to 48 hour period. So off you go, and thanks very much, and enjoy.